Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the SOTA Pop Podcast. My name is Kiya Williams, and I'm here with a very special guest. Say hi.
Hi.
Everybody, this is Liv. We are going to talk about the fun topics that is just the horror genre overall.
Absolutely.
And we may or may not be talking about the Five Nights at Freddy movie. I have no regrets of this.
I'm so excited.
Before we get started, the reason Liv is here with us today is because we did an episode at SOAR. However, all of our SOAR stuff is not store stuff. All of our filming and recording equipment for pop-ups is just cursed. And so it deleted all of the sound and audio. We have the footage from it, just none of the audio.
Sadness.
And last time we did this, it corrupted. So currently, we're making them up one person at a time of anybody who wants to come back and record an episode with us. And if you want to, please just send me an email at sotapop, SOTAPOP, @una.edu. And if you don't want to send me an email, you can just give me a DM on Instagram at UNASOTAPOP, SOTAPOP, on Insta. And I will get back to you. I'm the one seeing the emails. I'm the one replying to DMs. It's all me, babies. I'm not scary, I promise. But before we get started, we're going to do a fresh squeeze. Fresh squeeze, as you don't know, is where we try a new lemonade and talk about new music that we've been listening to.
Absolutely.
Like, you weren't here, but last week I recorded with River, who was also on the store. But
yeah,
I found out that I've practically drinking. I have drunk every single commercial lemonade that you can buy in a store.
Yeah.
Except this brand. This is one of the few brands I have not drinking all of them of.
I have never seen this brand before at all.
It's by the Chevron right next to the football stadium.
Interesting.
Yeah, this one is called Old Time. We are not sponsored. And this one is the Caribbean Blends. I actually, for the store episode, fun fact, I actually had the blueberry lemonade of this.
Was it any good?
It was good. I've never had a blueberry lemonade before.
I've never really liked them, but I always had like this one, like it was in a glass bottle. But it was like way too pulpy, and I hated that. Like it was fine, but then when I got to the pulp, I just wanted to gag.
Yeah, no, this one wasn't pulpy at all. It seems nice. As always, gotta give it a shake. I found out people don't shake their lemonades, which is crazy. ASMR.
You supposed to? I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
It shakes it up. You gotta shake up the sugar.
That makes sense.
Okay, now ASMR open. Those are nice. Okay, cheers.
My bad. That's not bad.
It's not bad. It's nice and tart, which I like. I did prefer the blueberry to this one because it had a little bit more sugar. It had a little more flavor, I think, because the blueberry.
This one's like a little bit like what you said, a little more tart. But like,
yeah,
honestly, this is actually not. Oh, it says premium juice cocktail. No wonder. I was about to say it sounds good if it could be mixed in with something. It's like, well, there you go.
Yes, this is a blender for something. But no, this is not bad at all. On a scale of 1 to 10,
like a good 7.5.
I would give this about a 6.5. It can be more.
Yeah,
it's a good base. It's literally just pink lemonade, so it's supposed to just be a base, you know.
The aftertaste is actually pretty good. It's better than the initial drink.
Yeah, I like the aftertaste because sometimes lemonades give you terrible aftertaste.
Yes, and then like to me, and this is why I don't drink lemonades all that often, is because like it makes my tongue kind of dry out. This is not like that to me. This is actually not bad.
It's a really good lemonade. Mm-hmm. Well, Liv, now that we had our lemonade, we need to know what songs you've been listening to. If you don't know, all these songs can be found on a playlist on Spotify under the title Fresh Squeeze on the UNA School of the Arts profile. So go check it out. What have you been listening to?
Oh, man, the things I've been listening to. The things I've been listening to have been, like, slightly kind of dark because, like, it's been around, the Halloween time. So it's like,
yes,
you got to listen to something kind of dark.
Yeah.
But there's this one song in particular. It's not spooky, but it's, like, one of those songs that kind of makes you think. Like, when it comes to the horror factor of stuff, because, we're going to talk about that anyways.
Yeah.
I like movies that kind of really make you, like, really think of, like, what it's really about. And this song called, My Little Dark Age. That's the song I've been listening to.
Ooh.
It's just like, and the whole reason behind this song is because like, what had happened with, the 2016 election, like that kind of depression.
Yes.
But I've been seeing it in edits of like one of my favorite horror movies of all time, which is Jordan Peele's third movie, Nope.
Yeah.
And like, I think it just goes so well with it. And like, I've been listening to that like a lot. Like, I'm not depressed or anything, but it's just, my bad.
You're good.
It's just that, I don't know. sometimes like I just like to listen to songs where I can just sit back and not really think about it, or I like to create stories in my head whenever I'm listening to music.
Oh, 100%, all the time. Like as a kid, you're in the car making your own music videos.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, and sometimes you have to replay it over and over again. It's like, I'm not feeling it hard enough, or I'm not thinking about it hard enough.
Yes.
And that's just one of those songs to me.
No, that's fair.
I forgot who sings it, but like it's a really good song.
I will look it up and put on the playlist. For me, we're talking about horror, and nothing's scarier than an emo, okay?
Right.
And I've been hearing a whole bunch of talks about like how emo music does not exist anymore.
What?
Because there's no new bands like that, who is like doing the
Yeah.
who's doing what they did back in like 2007. Oopsie poopsies.
The early 2000s and the late 90s were it, man.
The album, I've been listening to this album literally on repeat. All my friends hate me because of it. I've been listening to it since it dropped, I think like October 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And that's called Face for the Radio.
Ooh.
It is so good. And I mean, it gives you all the emo feels, all of the nostalgia. It's just good music on top of that. Like the whole joke, because I found them on TikTok, because of course I did. The whole joke is that like their English teacher wrote it because of how many metaphors and similes and stuff are in it. But it's just good music. I can't help it.
Yeah.
Good music is good music. I don't care how corny it is. I don't think it's corny.
I don't think emo music can be corny. Like it's that kind of music. I grew up with this music.
Exactly.
Yo, like not even kidding. Like my mother used to play My Chemical Romance like every morning going to school.
Exactly. It's just good. So the name of, we're gonna call them for in case children are watching, Pop Tropica People ! They're a real title that I will gladly tell you afterwards.
Yeah.
But we love them. I love the fact that their name has Pop Tropica in it, because that's just such a thing,
It's such a fun thing to like say, really.
Yeah. So Pop Tropica People ! For the moment. But we love them. It's really good. I want everybody to listen to it again, and it's bringing back the emo music that everybody's been missing. Is what I call it. And 10 out of 10, great, recommend it to any and everyone.
Absolutely. I got to give this a listen. Now you can choose.
You have to. It's just good. It's so good. All my friends hate me right now because it's the only thing I've been listening to on repeat. And I'm the same person who listens to a song for like 3 hours.
Same. And it's just like, what have I been doing?
No, I was driving down to Montgomery to go see my family, and I literally listened to Evacuate the Dance Floor for about 3 hours.
Oh, that song. I have not listened to that in a minute.
And you think I would get annoyed, but all 3 hours of that drive, it was just Evacuate the Dance Floor on repeat. Let's talk about Liv. Liv is a freshman here, correct?
No, I'm a junior, actually.
Are you a transfer?
Yeah.
Oh, Liv is a transfer. I didn't know.
No, it's okay. A lot of people have said, "Oh, you're a freshman." They were telling me all about the school, and I'm like, "Nah, babes, junior."
No, we've had a lot of Liv is a cat major. I need to say that. But we had a lot of transfers in the department this year instead of like just freshmen. So I was like, I'm just so used to more freshmen.
Yeah, no, that's totally valid.
Yeah. So tell us about it yourself. Like, why are you here? Why did you choose UNA?
Well, I chose UNA in my last semester. Like I knew I wanted to do stuff with film, but I didn't know exactly where I was gonna go or like how to do that, because I thought about going to SCAD University in Georgia, but they had to have out of state tuition. Like that was way too expensive.
Very expensive.
And way out of the way, out of my hometown. And then my teacher's like, "Hey, UNA's really cool. You should come check this out." Like Mike Johnson said that he was going to come down, give us a little rundown of what it's like. And I just liked the way that he talked about it. And then we did like we came here for the film festival earlier in the spring.
George Lindsay Film Festival.
Yeah, and like I just loved the campus. We walked around, like we went into the George Lindsay Theater in the Black Box. That was my first time being in there. Mm-hmm. And I loved it. I loved being in there. Like, I just felt like it was my calling. But not only that, it's like way less expensive than SCAD.
SCAD is very expensive.
But also, I just heard like it's such a great program, and they're like, "Oh, but the theater and the film department is now collaborating together, so you won't just be doing film." And I thought, "Oh, well, that's cool." In case I wanted to do some theater stuff, because I was a theater kid in high school.
Yes.
As one
being
is.
A theater, you don't escape being a theater kid,
I have learned that as being here. You
just travel to different avenues. Some of us become, like Disney kids. Mm-hmm. Well, Disney adults is a proper term, I guess.
Pretty much.
Or like, you just become a performer, or you just become like one in hiding.
Yeah.
You don't ever stop being the theater kid,
No, because see, the crazy thing is that I wanted to be a band kid, but because of my dyslexia and ADHD, I have trouble, with the music, following along, and they're like, no, you just suck. So I became a theater kid.
Yeah. What got you into film?
Honestly, I just grew up with film like my entire life. Like I remember like whenever my mom would leave to go to work and it was in the summer, again, we were poor. We didn't have phones, at that time. We would just watch movies like all the time, back to back, and we would make games out of it. Like we would remember whole scripts. Like we would do the voices.
Oh,
special
you
features.
like turn off and like see if you can like keep up with it?
Yeah.
A lot of my favorite things.
Or we would just try to do it in our own way or in like different voices to see like how, just to make each other laugh really.
Yeah.
But we would also discuss about like things that we would have done differently, like what was the best part about it, stuff like that, growing up.
See, I'm not a film person. I'm a very bad actor because I don't watch anything ever.
I can't act to save my life. I mean, I can if I really want to, but like I prefer being a director, honestly.
No, that's fair. I just don't like. I'm such a bad person because I don't ever watch any films. So people are like, "Have you seen this film? Have you seen this film?" It could be a cult classic. I don't know any of the things that you're talking about, and I'm like, "Oh, you know this actor?" I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I was like that until about 5 years ago.
So people are slowly trying to convert me, but I don't have an attention span, which is the detriment of my generation.
That's valid. That's totally understandable. But like whenever it came to horror movies, I was invested.
Yeah.
Like I was 12 years old when I first watched my horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, I was younger than that. I was 9. And
what was it?
Ooh. It's kind of bad. This movie was bad.
Tell me.
It shouldn't have been my first horror. It should not have been my first horror movie. It was Halloween 3.
Okay.
And if anybody knows that within, the Halloween, franchise, Halloween 3 should have not been made. Because I think what they were trying to do with the franchise was that they would tell stories that goes on Halloween.
Yeah.
And, just kind of break away from, the Michael Myers aspect of it. But it just did not work out. But it freaked me out because in like that movie, like the kids would put on, these Halloween, masks, and they would either become it. Like there was this one where they did like a test run with like this kid wearing like a jack-o'-lantern one, and his pumpkin head just began to rot. And that scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, 9, it would probably be terrifying.
Yeah, there were bugs coming out of it, flies, snakes, like all sorts of things coming out of this kid's head. And I'm just like, what is this?
Okay, well, my technical first horror movie was like Coraline, but even then.
Can you even count that being a horror movie?
I was terrified, as all of 9 of me.
I was 7 when I watched that.
I was either 8 or 9. Honestly, I have terrible remembrance of time, but I'm pretty sure I was 8 or 9, and I was terrified. I was spending the night at my cousin's house, and my dad had to come pick me up because I was crying.
Oh my goodness.
So like the older I've gotten, the better I've gotten at horror, and I can watch stuff now.
I should have brought my Coraline little sweatshirt. I actually bought that the other day from Hot Topic. I'm
obsessed with Coraline. This is just a fun fact about everyone knows about this if you listen to the show long enough. I love Coraline.
Coraline is the best.
And to me it's a good intro into beginner horror.
I remember when I first showed my dad that movie.
Yeah.
He was like, "What are you watching? Why are you doing this?"
No, my dad like watched me watch Billy and Mandy as a child and was like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "Courage the Cowardly Dog is so much scarier than this."
Oh.
Like that is terrifying.
Return the slab.
Like,
Return the slab.
I think the scariest person to me was the guy with like the hair cutting, like the blonde guy.
Yeah.
That was like absolutely terrifying to me.
And he kept saying like how he would do naughty things, and it's like
it's creepy. That show was terrifying.
It really was. Like honestly, Billy and Mandy was very tame.
Yeah, it was just you just had the Grim Reaper there occasionally,
who had a Jamaican accent.
I love the Grim Reaper. He's great. But it's a very weird genre of them playing, of like knowing like what could be for kids versus what's not. You're always like teeter-tottering a line.
Yeah. No, but circling back to Coraline, I was 7 years old when I first watched that movie. My sister got it from the Red Box. We were contemplating on stealing it.
Yeah.
But we didn't. Yes. But I remember watching that. My mom's like, "Don't let her watch that." And Kaylin's like, "Nah, who's my sister?" She's like, "Nah, let's see what happens." Yeah. I loved it. Like,
it's a good movie.
Like they always said that like in the beginning, like whenever she's, redoing the doll, I always saw that with fascination, not with creepiness.
No, it's a very, like, I feel like horror movies get people theorizing and thinking beyond beyond just like what the movie tells you.
Yeah.
And I love that about the horror genre, is that it grows out so much. And people have like such fascinating theories, which I think most of them are hoopla, because it's Coraline. But like they take this to like every movie genre, from like Nope to the Scream movie, to like literally everything. The theories that come from it are like, I love that it gets people thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, here's the thing about theories: they don't have to be right or wrong. They just have to, it's one little thing that makes somewhat of sense.
Yes.
And I've heard like so many theories about Coraline, because like, I know that Beldam means witch, and that's what the ghost children called her. And what made me think was that, how did she get to be like this?
Yes.
Was she always this way, or was she human before she got cursed?
Like, is it like Greek mythology where she just like popped up one day, or
yeah.
like what?
Why is she made of needles?
Yes. Why sewing specifically? Why a rag doll?
Honestly, I think it has something to do with like almost like a voodoo doll kind of like aesthetic to it. Like, that's what I was thinking.
100% it is.
And like, I think that's why like the dolls were made, and that's why I liked it so much, because like I was also fascinated with New Orleans and the spookiness of it all.
That's all connected.
Exactly.
What is one of your favorite horror movies that you've like ever watched?
My favorite horror movie of all time that I've ever watched?
Yeah.
Like I said before, it's Jordan Peele's Nope. That has me in a chokehold, because before that movie came out, it was Get Out.
Yeah.
And it's not about the story in general. It's like how he built up to it, and the little things that kind of show you, hey, things ain't all right here in the neighborhood. Yes. Like, it's the little things that make up the whole story. And specifically in Nope, it's like, it's about the movie industry and like how it treats people. Mm-hmm. Like, the monster, like, spoilers, I'm so sorry. Like, the monster is supposed to represent, your typical UFO.
Yeah.
But the thing is that if you were to see, like, have you seen the movie?
I have not.
I'm going to spoil it. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'm probably not going to watch it anytime soon.
It looks like this, like, saucer, but, like, that's not what it is. That's just it kind of, closed in on stuff. But when it opens up, it looks like this jellyfish, like, Lovecraftian archangel.
Yes.
And, like, in the middle of it, there's, like, this green, little box. That represents, like, a camera.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it takes people up, chews them up, and spits out what it can't consume.
Yeah.
Like the movie industry does.
Yeah.
And, like, I love that reference so much. But it also, again, spoilers, it also compared that monster to, like, what had happened, earlier in the movie with Gordy.
Yeah.
Who was also an animal. Mm-hmm. Who, got, scared of balloons. And, just hurt people. Like, it didn't mean to. It's just that it's an animal. It doesn't know any better. Mm-hmm. And the movie industry exploited that. Mm-hmm. And that's really what it's about. And I really do love that. Because it gets to the point where it's like, when is enough enough? Like, what are you going to exploit this time that's going to cause so much pain that you're going to benefit from?
Yes.
And I feel like that's very on brand with the movie industry. It's
very much on brand for just Hollywood in general. It's just a machine that does not care.
Exactly. And like, that's what I'm really, and like when I first saw that movie and when I first realized, I wanted to go to UNA and I first saw this movie and I'm like, oh my God, I could become this if I'm not careful.
Yes.
And and that kind of made me sit back, realize, my own, mortality, becoming self-aware of like, when is enough going to be enough? Like, how far are you willing to take this for, like, that impossible shot?
Yes.
Or in the movie, the Oprah shot.
Yes. When it comes to, like, consuming horror, is there do you only prefer, like, doing it through movies? Because, like, I know a lot of me when I consume horror, a lot of me. I know for me, when I consume horror, it's mainly through, like, video games.
Yeah.
Or, like, creepypastas. Or, like, folklore. Like, is there a certain, like, type of genre you prefer, or is it just movies?
Honestly, I like it all. Like, I have always been obsessed with, the horror genre, or the things that we can't really explain, as, I like to put it.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's one of those things where it's like something went wrong along the way. Mm-hmm. And it's like, how did it get this bad? And that's really what makes me kind of interested, and that's what I almost went to psychology for.
Yes.
Is that there's something in us or something in that thing that just broke, that went wrong. And, like, that's what I always love about it is because, like, it's supposed to be wrong. And we're not supposed to understand it.
Sometimes I don't think it's that it's broke or it's supposed to be wrong. I feel like people are scared
of what it is.
Of what it is, or just not thinking in that direction.
Right.
Because, like, think of, like, Edgar Allan Poe. Like, to me, the original, like, horror genre, person is like he just didn't think the traditional like happy-go-lucky way, and people find that terrifying. It's just looking at it in a different light is what scares most people.
What's your favorite Edgar Allan Poe like story poem?
Hold on, I gotta look it up. It's been so long since I read Edgar Allan Poe. I'm not gonna lie.
Also, I'm pretty sure the reason why I'm into horror so much is because, like, to get me to read, my mother would read the books that she was reading, and it was always Stephen King, Edgar Allan Poe. Like, she would, like, you know, like, in order for me to, you know, be like, what happens next? What happens next? She's like, learn to read.
Learn to read.
Learn to read. And I was dyslexic, so it was really hard for me.
No, that is true. Like, I'm dyslexic as well. Hey, bestie.
Hey!
I'm pretty sure it's A Dream Within.
Ooh. I might have heard of that. Tell me how it goes.
It's been so long since I've read it, but that's the name that I'm thinking I read last. So don't quote me on it, because I haven't read it in like 6 years.
Mine was, you know, the typical Telltale Heart, but also the Cast of Amagi. I can never say this.
Cast of Amontillado?
Yes. That one was, you know, very interesting to me because, like, I thought that was the most heartless way of killing somebody. The most ruthless, the most heartless, but the best way to kill someone.
You know what I'm so happy you brought up murder. One of my favorite things is like modern horror is like the ID channel.
Ooh, yes.
Like, I used to watch 1,000 Ways to Die, or like how people will watch these, or like people will watch these shows on television of like, I can figure out the name, but like how people like kill their husbands and like all these crimes of passion that we're seeing, and just watch it so desensitized. It's kind of like, but added to the current thing of true crime now. Yeah, which is technically a horror genre, but people, you watch it so much they're becoming desensitized.
Yeah, and like
to the things that are in real life.
It's especially women. Yes, especially women, because like you know, the world that we live in, like we were told, you know, as women we should be careful. We need to be careful. Yes. We would watch these things that could or should happen to us, and so at this point we're just like, we're ready for anything at this point, because like no matter like what happens, like we got it covered, like, you know, emotionally. Yeah. You know, Again, I blame my mother for making me so interested in the horror thing, is that she would read to me these books, but also I started watching, you know, Criminal Minds and stuff like that since I was 6. I was 6 years old, and the whole reason that she got me hooked on it was because I used to run away from her in the store. And so she would show me, like, this one case of, like, this boy who they found his head in a box. Yeah. This case is still unknown, I believe. Like, don't quote me if I'm wrong. They might have just solved it. Mm-hmm. But she would say, that would be you. Stop running off from me. And so, like, that would scare me a little bit. But then, like, she would watch it, you know, early Saturday morning, like, before the cartoons would come on. Yeah. And we would watch that together. And then the cartoons came on. And it's like, that's not a way for a child to, you know, spend their Saturday morning. No, not a very good transition, you know? No, not at all.
Because, like, my mother was the exact opposite. She got tired of watching all the kids' shows, so she would just put on, like, HGTV or Food Network.
Oh, the Food Network. I was never really allowed to watch the Food Network. Nobody wanted to watch it.
No, I'm sorry.
And I actually was very interested in that.
It's a very good channel. I don't know anymore, but it was a very good channel.
Well, you got Gordon Ramsay yelling at folks.
That's even funnier.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing that, like, I love to consume when it comes to, like, the horror genre, like, besides, like, because we always think traditional, like, horror movie. Yeah. It's, like, the video games.
Yes.
And they are so much fun because it adds an interactive experience with it.
Ooh, like Silent Hill.
Yes. Like, it gets your heartbeat going. Mm-hmm. And, like, people fail to realize that because, like, I can't play them because it scares me too much.
I would scream. Like, I'm just... Like, the whole time I will scream.
And I thank the gods for YouTube so I can interact with it and still watch it and enjoy the games and still get the same kind of fear without actually playing it.
Shout out to Markiplier.
Of course. And my dad was like, why do you watch this? I'm like, why do you watch sports?
Exactly.
I can't play it and neither can you.
Right. Like, we're too poor, father.
It's not even that. I'm just not good at it.
Yeah.
You know? I'm not good at it. You're not good at it. It's something to enjoy either way.
Oh, there's another movie. Like, since we're talking about video games, you know, going into, like, you know, a movie adaptation or, you know, a movie going into a game adaptation. Yes. The Blair Witch Project. That is, like, one of my all-time favorite movies. Good. Matter of fact, if I were to do my first film, it would be a found footage film.
Yes.
Because I love that genre so much.
It's a very underrated kind of genre.
And
it's hard to do.
It is.
It's very, because you have to make it compelling.
Yes.
Because my thing is, I can tap out at any point. You're just doing the same thing over and over again. What makes this one different from the other?
Right.
And it's if it's done right.
Everybody was so scared for those kids in the Blair Witch Project. Like, they sent, they sent money. They sent, little,
Yes.
get well cards, sorry about your dead kids. And it was just like, we'll help you find these kids. And they're like, no, it's just a movie.
Yes. It's honestly so good if it's done right. And so that's why I like the Blair Witch Project. There was another there's a video game that's kind of like that. God, what is it? Recently this came out was with Amanda.
I know exactly who you're talking about. The Adventures of Amanda.
Yes. That one, because it's all.
The second game's coming out soon.
Oh, they're making a second game?
Yes.
I didn't know that. For people who don't know, it's very similar to Blair Witch Project, where you're learning everything through VHS tapes.
An educational video.
Yeah, it's very much a play on Blue's Clues and Dora, and how this little girl got taken advantage of, and basically is implied that she's trapped inside of a video game.
But she's a demon?
Horror's weird to explain. I realize explaining the plot of a horror thing without just watching it is the most confusing thing in the world.
Bro, Five Nights at Freddy's, am I right?
We're gonna get to it.
We're building up to it, but
she's trapped inside these VHS tapes, and you're learning her story by having to watch this interact with while you're stuck in a basement.
Yeah.
Not a basement, attic. And it's so compelling.
I feel so bad for her, honestly.
It's not even the video game moments. It's the clips of the real life, seeing what happened to her and her father and the agent. Those are the moments that make it.
Yeah, those were the color tapes, weren't they? The different color ones?
Yes.
What's so crazy about it, and this what caused me to freak out, is that one of the tapes was my birthday. The date of it and the time was my birthday, exactly when I was born.
Oh my God.
And I'm just sitting there wait a minute. And I thought I was looking at it wrong. And I'm like, no, that's my birthday.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, no. No.
Because my thing is I don't care how much blood or guts or gore you put into a film. It will never amount to just being psychologically messed.
We can't even see exactly what happened to her. That's what's so crazy.
It's the unknown that truly gets to people. That's the whole point is I can see someone get their legs chopped off. I can see the blood and the guts. That doesn't mean anything compared to what I don't know is happening.
The horrors behind the unknown.
Literally, fun. There's this stupid kid show called The Amazing World of Gumball, which is super good. But one character says she just makes a bunch of noises and stuff, and the thing that's scarier is what your brain comes up with versus what they actually had intended.
Right.
Because he was because Gumball asked the character, I think the character's name was Jamie, what were you imagining? Oh, I was just doing a bunch of stuff because I know whatever you came up would be scarier than what I could say.
And what would that be?
Just anything. In general, whatever your brain comes up with is typically scarier than anything you typically plan for. And it's true, and I love that.
Gumball, The Amazing World of Gumball actually had some scenes that were actually out of pocket, actually kind of scary.
Very much
Have you
so.
noticed the clown that's in certain episodes sitting in the background, it gets closer and closer and closer.
Every single episode.
And they address that in an episode. I think that was a Halloween episode, and if not, that's one of those quote unquote lost episodes.
Yeah. Lost episodes are a whole different thing. But that's the fun thing I love about it. Now that we've built up all this tension, we can finally talk about the elephant in the room, which is the FNAF movie.
Yeah.
It just came out. Spoilers now, so if you haven't watched it, please leave. Love. Only thing I will say for people who haven't watched it, this is my only thing I'm going to tell you that's spoiler free. As a movie about FNAF, 7 out of 10. The little lore gremlin in me, 4 out of 10.
It's only the first movie though.
Yeah, as I'm saying, this a little lore gremlin does not like it. But as an overall movie about FNAF, it's a 7 out of 10.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's a solid movie. It's not bad. My thing is, people forget that it's a PG-13 rating. Mm-hmm. There's not going to be that much gore.
It should have been rated R, in my personal opinion.
If they want it to be all that blood and gore and guts, then yeah, it should have been rated R.
Yeah.
However, the target audience is 13-year-olds. Even though the rest of us are 30 and 27 going to watch these movies, the target audience is 10 to 13-year-olds. So And most parents aren't going to take their like 8-year-old kid to go see a rated R movie. Okay, now that's all I'm giving spoiler free.
Yeah.
FNAF is a movie that is based on a horror video game. It was originally an indie video game that got up a lot of traction on YouTube. After all of the traction happened, it just came bigger and bigger and bigger. The fandom got so big. The video games came first, and then there was a book series, and then the movies happened. There are songs about it. The cosplays are wonderful. Currently, Chuck E. Cheese is jealous of all of the attraction.
They should be.
And is currently making parodies of FNAF.
What do you mean they're making parodies?
You didn't hear? No. They were doing this 5 Nights of Fun at Chuck E. Cheese.
No.
FNAF is a parody of Chuck E. Cheese, by the way. I'm doing very bad at explaining that.
No, like, really, Chuck E. Cheese?
Chuck E. Cheese, literally, the poster is a match. Like, it literally, like, if you hold them up side by side, it's literally a match for the for FNAF.
No, I know it's like I know like Five Nights at Freddy's, or Freddy Fazbear's is like kind of like a cheap knockoff.
Yeah,
of,
I'm talking about Chuck E. Cheese made a poster.
Oh, really?
To match the FNAF poster of Five Nights at Freddy's. That's literally like, if you hold up the characters, they look the exact same as the poster for the FNAF movie.
Can they do that legally?
Yeah.
Okay. I was about to
they
say,
would have got a lawsuit by now.
I was about to say, like, that doesn't feel legal.
But no, they were doing a whole bunch of stuff that like matched it literally this year.
They really couldn't. Though.
And like people were like, really? And then they even had cards. Someone came up to ask an employee what to say if they brought up FNAF.
Right.
And so, yeah, but no, that's like the series and the way this about these animatronics that are possessed by dead children. Mm-hmm. I cannot tell you anything else in a simpler way other than this. If you might want to go watch a lore video on YouTube for more context. Matthew, Patrick, and I have a lot of beef, but I recommend that you go out and watch lore, then come back to this. This is going to get real niche real fast. Just a heads up, audience. Okay. How do you feel about the FNAF movie?
I personally, being the first movie and seeing like what we got, from what we got, I don't think it was all that bad.
It's really not.
To be frank, again, it's like a 7.5 out of 10 for me. Only because, like, again, like, I really liked it because, like, of, again, like the startup. It's just so crazy to me, like the actors they pulled from this. They literally got the dude who played in the freaking Hunger Games as like
they got
Kiya.
Josh Hutcherson and Michael Lillard
behind the Slaughter, who was in Scream.
Like literally, they got the king. I'm honestly calling him the king of horror movies.
No,
at this point.
He is at this point.
Because one thing about Matthew Lillard, he's gonna be in a horror movie.
Oh yeah, did you notice like again spoilers at the end like what he did whenever he was dressed up as like a Spring Bonnie?
Yeah,
it's like he did with the knife.
Yeah,
and I'm like no way.
Like it's so
no way.
It's a good. I'm not gonna sit and act like it's not a good movie. Like I was like overall as a movie plot about FNAF, it's actually really good.
It's really I really liked it. I liked like how they actually liked the how they did the kids and the animatronics because they were like ruthless killers. No, they're just kids.
They're really just kids, and people forget that.
Oh, my favorite part was when they built that fort. That was so sweet.
No, okay, hold on. I have to bring this up because I'm not understanding where people are getting this from. My TikTok is just all FNAF at the moment,
mm-hmm.
and my thing is like they're saying how each kid died, and the thing is we don't have confirmation for this.
No,
like they're saying that like Bonnie was fighting his way when he was getting like stabbed, and that Foxy was running, and that Chica was like coerced. Which is somewhat true. Yeah. And then I forgot the one.
I mean, that's kind of canon, though.
And that Freddy was hiding. And there's no canonness for any of this.
No.
And the thing is about FNAF lore is that 90% of it is just people making up stuff.
Well, the only one that we do know, and this is actually from the video games, like not in the movie specifically, but if they actually showed it in the movies, the next one.
Is Chica.
Yeah, Chica, that kid.
She got lured from her dog.
Yeah, well, not from her dog. Her dog was dead.
I know, he lured her, but with
the dog. Like for the dog. Like that was the one we knew for sure that she was coerced. And she was so sad.
Yes.
And Freddy's was the only place that was going to cheer her up.
Yes.
And then she got murdered by
a crazy person.
By
a crazy person.
By a crazy person.
A crazy British man.
I don't know why this kind of got into my head, but like I'm thinking about the comic books, in Silver Eyes.
Yes.
All I was thinking of is like this TikTok thing that says like he goes naked in the suit for some reason, and all I could think of was like that one scene like from Euphoria that's kind of like a meme on TikTok. It's like put your pants on. It's like put your pants on. No, it's like I'm not telling you again. Put your pants on. I am who I am, and it's like You ought to be ashamed, sir.
It's just that's why I'm like, it's certain things that what's your favorite theory?
What's my favorite theory?
Yes.
Oh, there's so many theories. There's so many theories in this. One of my theories is that this is for a security breach.
Okay.
Like, I feel like, because, like, Freddy, Glamrock Freddy, suddenly being nice never really made sense to me. And I'm like, why would he be nice? Like, why is he, nicer than all the other, animatronics? Like, just because, he fainted. That made no sense to me. And for some reason, I think this is my own theory that I made in my own head. I think Glamrock Freddy is, like, possessed by Michael. Mm-hmm. And I think that Gregory, I don't know if he's a robot or not, but I think that he in some way, looks similar to the crying child.
Yes.
And I think this is a way from these two, to kind of, like, fix, not exactly fix but what happened, but, make up for what happened.
See, Security Breach is so confusing to me.
It's too fast.
It didn't have enough time to marinate.
It didn't have enough time to marinate.
And I understand that Scott Kaufman is ridiculously known for putting out games early.
Well, he was barely involved in that one.
I know he wasn't, but the thing is, like, he believed in crunch. Y'all don't need to. Like, my thing is because runes make no sense. Because if you didn't read the books, I was like, what in the world is a mimic? Like, what is it? And
Candy Cadet scared the crap out of me whenever he starts telling stories. The one that he was talking about, yes. The mimic. I'm just like, no.
What are you talking about? But no, it's from the books, and I'm like, this is why people are like, the books aren't canon, but they are canon because the mimics is from the books.
So you got to pick and choose what's canon.
Exactly, and it's just frustrating. But like I really do believe that FNAF ends at Ultimate Customite, and then I thought VR was nice and cheeky, I loved it. It was great. And then Glitch Trap came back and I was like, oh my God.
It's like,
let William Afton be dead.
Dang it, Grandpa.
Okay. Like, let Peepaw be dead.
Just die. Just die.
Yes.
Oh, there's another theory that I do have.
Yes.
Okay, I believe that there's definitely 2 children possessing Golden Freddy.
Yes.
There's definitely.
Of course.
But here's the thing. Who do you think is more angry? Cassidy or the crying child?
Cassidy.
Also, I think his name is Evan.
Some people think it's Evan. I'm curious on why they chose Garrett as a name.
Garrett?
Yeah, that's the name of Michael's dead brother in the movie.
Oh yeah, Garrett.
So that's what I'm curious about is the name choice of Garrett.
Who names their kid Garrett?
No one does.
Nobody.
If your name's
Dead
Garrett,
kids apparently.
If you're named Garrett, I'm sorry, I guess. But nah, it's confusing because like there's no confirmed name for the crying child. Cece for right now.
Cece.
But like I'm very interested in why they chose the name Garrett, and does that have any correlation to the video games or not?
I don't think it's something we're gonna have to think too hard on. I think that's just really more or less like a filler character that's supposed to represent Cece.
I know, because like if you watch the movies, there's a lot of parallels to the
You know what it kind of reminds me of? Like, do you remember in the games where like we get to see that his what's his name? Charlie. Yeah, Charlie. Like she was outside whenever like and there was this car that like the purple guy like showed up in. Yeah. I feel like those are some weird parallels.
The parallels that I've been seeing the most that I kind of agree with is like because since in the movie Vanessa is William's daughter.
I didn't like that.
I didn't like it either. That's where the lore gremlin in me said this got knocked down to like 4.
I didn't like that.
So instead they're making like Michael, Abby, and Garrett Henry's children. Because if you watch the tape that Michael watched, the man who's fixing the animatronics looks eerily similar to Henry. Admit to Michael's dad.
Do you think he killed them?
He didn't kill them.
Oh, he didn't.
No, William still killed them. It's just saying that Henry and William switched places, and so William's still killing everybody, but Henry now has the 3 kids instead of just the 1.
I don't like that swap.
I never said I liked it, but this is the most plausible theory at the moment.
I mean, I get, like, here's the thing with FNAF, and this is something that Scott even confirmed, is that any, like, FNAF thing that he does, like, besides the games, like, with the books and, like, this one in particular, it's, like, a different universe.
It's a different universe.
And, like, and I accept that. Because, like, he doesn't want to keep doing the same thing over and over and over. It gets redundant.
Yes.
I respect that. That's why I like this movie. However, I did not like that tiny detail.
I didn't like that detail. It's just like and then originally I thought Ella was Abby. Some people think not Abby, Baby, because some people like thought the animatronic they're putting Abby in was Baby.
I thought she was the puppet because of the way she says hello.
It's the face. The face mold is Ella's face mold from the books.
Oh,
Like I said, it's really amalgamation from all of them. And Abby is Baby, just letters rearranged. So it's very clearly that's supposed to be a connection to the two.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yes, that is like a whole thing. So when they tried to put Ella into the animatronic, I mean not Ella, they tried to put Abby into Ella's animatronic, because Ella was originally the animatronic in the book that gave Charlie life in Silver Eyes. And I mean not Silver Eyes, the Fourth Door.
Yeah.
So it's like I can see the connection there of that supposed to be Henry's children and why Vanessa, because originally I thought Vanessa was gonna be an animatronic. Crazy.
What animatronic was she even?
No, she just is one. Like, in the Fourth Door.
Yeah.
She's just an animatronic.
Yeah,
That's what I just thought it was.
Okay.
But turned out that's not to be the case.
No.
So like I said, the timeline's confusing. FNAF is confusing. I want to let it go. That's one of the reasons me and Matthew Patrick have so much unspoken beef.
Bro, the fact that he was in the movie and then he was like, hey guys, I was in the movie now. And I'm just like, wow, we're all so shocked.
Oh my God.
Like, there's no, like, you being in the movie, like, all this time.
I keep seeing jokes about how everyone just says, like, Matthew is like when Scott doesn't know what to do with lore, he just go watches the end video from Matthew Patrick, be like, yeah, no, that's what I meant to do this entire time.
We knew. No,
Secrets.
No, I'm not even surprised that he was. Like, matter of fact, even when he announced it.
No, Mark was supposed to be in it.
No, he was supposed to be the security guard.
I know in the beginning.
Yeah.
But he couldn't because he was filming Iron Lung, which is another horror movie that is going to have, I think, the Guinness World Record for, like, the most amount of blood because he got poisoning from using so much fake blood.
Yes. Well, poor Mark, but...
Yay, fake blood.
No, Corey Kitchen, though, in the movie.
Yes.
I love that. I love that for him.
Great.
I like when I first saw the trailer and him in it, I freaked out because like I was actually with my family sitting down on the couch and I watched it. I was like, oh, and they're like, what? And I'm like, nothing.
No, my dad watched. He came into like the last 30 minutes of me watching the movie and just saw me screaming at the TV. He was like, Kiya.
I'm so glad that they stuck to what the fans wanted. I'm so glad.
No, because my thing is they could have done what critic wanted, but it wouldn't have been a movie for the fans.
Yeah, no, this was for the fans.
With like the Mario movie, that's a movie for the fans. It's not a movie for critics.
And the fact that they played the FNAF 1 song at the end, I was like,
it was so good.
I was gonna be so mad if they didn't do it, but then when I heard the Living Tombstone thing going, and I'm like, yes. Like, this is why I love the movie, like, so much, because they made it exactly for their target audience.
Yes.
They didn't make it for the critics. They didn't make it for Hollywood. They made it for us.
And I love that. I love when when people know when directors know what their audience wants.
And I feel like we need more of those in Hollywood. Like, I think we need to break away from, what we've been seeing the past, couple of years now, especially, with the superhero era. I feel like that's coming to an end.
I feel like it's about to be a lot of fan-made things, like things made for fans.
I think it's time that we get the monster movies back into Hollywood.
I would love a good monster movie.
Because we have not had, a good monster movie or, a good franchise of it since, the 50s or, the 60s. It's like, you know what? I think we're done with superheroes. Yeah. I think we need to bring back the monsters.
Yes.
Just a personal opinion.
I like monsters. I think they're super fun,
Which one's your favorite?
I was like, okay, when you're like a kid, when you get to choose to pretend to be whatever you want.
Absolutely.
I always stuck between a witch or a vampire.
I wanted to be a werewolf so bad.
No, you give werewolf energy.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
you do.
You give me witch energy, actually.
I try, I try. But to end out, we're gonna have to do. Thank you for joining just us rambling about Five Nights at Freddy's.
We could keep going if we wanted to.
Yeah, this is not going to make sense to anybody, but I appreciate you being here and listening with us. Before we end, we have to do a Fizzle Down Feel Good. That is just one good thing that's happened to you this week. I will go first. We are getting ready for our show off, which is a talent show that we're doing on November 7th. And one of the things that we're giving away are our statues, our golden Daves. Dave is our mascot. And I opened one up and I think they're smaller than our actual Dave. He's a skeleton, by the way. Dave's a skeleton.
Yeah.
And they're so cute that I took one out and I've now grown emotionally attached to it that now Dave has a son and we had to cut one of the awards. So now there's only 4 instead of 5.
Oh.
Because I can't give away one of Dave's children.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotta keep one of them like puppies.
Yeah. So now we have Junior. And that's now my new favorite thing of the week. Betsy, if you're listening to this, I love you. I didn't do that.
No, absolutely not.
Of course not.
What was my good thing? Honestly, just hanging out with, like, some friends on Halloween, just having a really good time. And we watching a horror movie. You want to guess what we watched?
What?
We watched Jordan Peele's Nope.
Of course. We love it.
Okay, one more thing I wanted to ask before we, left.
Yeah.
What's your favorite FNAF character?
Ballora or Funtime Freddy?
I like Bonnie, personally.
No, Bonnie's a good choice.
Bonnie's an absolutely lovely choice. That's the one character that scared Scott Coffin so badly.
No, that's literally horrifying. Is there anywhere else that people could find you? Or do you want to hang out with you? Is there a way they can connect with you on social media or something?
I don't use social media. I'm one of those weirdos that don't use social media at all.
No, that is so fine.
However, I do have a Pinterest, but I can't get my phone out right now.
Don't even worry about it. If you want to come find Liv, come to the George Lindsay Theater. Yeah, they'll probably be there.
I'm there mainly all the time, or I'm just walking around. You can't miss me. Pink, short hair, you cannot miss me.
You'll find Liv. Liv will find you, better yet.
Absolutely.
Just close your eyes and then wish, and Liv will be there.
Absolutely. You just wish upon a Liv star.
Yeah, that's all it takes. Just a little wish and boop, I'm Liv.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate this. Nobody ever wants to talk about FNAF with me.
We can talk about this more often. I can come back.
That is fine. You know where my office is now.
Yeah,
I live here. So thank you guys so much for listening. I will see you the next time. And if you want to connect with us, you can find us on social media at UNA SOTA POP or UNA SOTA, UNA Soda, and UNA Soda Pop. Until next time, I will see you in the next episode. Bye!
Bye!